Let's talk brushes and water. What can you possibly say about water, first of all? Well, the first thing to say about water is you need more of it than you might think, meaning you need two lots, not one. If you use one lot of water, then you will find that as you clean your brush, it gets dirtier and dirtier and dirtier, and that muddies the colors. Now, you might not think that makes a difference, but over time, you will find that the grayish brownish mixture in here starts to mess with some of the lighter colors like lemon yellow, things like that, and it really makes a difference. So I would always say grab two pots. Now, it doesn't have to be a fancy pot, just ordinary kitchen mugs will do, whatever you're doing, but one to wash your brush, one to get clean water. Very, very simple. The other thing you need with water is one of these, which is a little spray bottle to spritz your paints, to spritz your paper. Quite a lot of the techniques we'll discover involve getting the paper wet first of all, but you need to keep it wet, or at least keep it damp. And this is brilliant for just keeping the paper lively. And if you're starting to do painting outside and you're starting to do painting where the sun is hot, it will dry things really quickly and you will lose the ability of the water to flow. These things just keep the paper damp. Brushes, well, there is no end to the amount of money you can spend on brushes and the sorts of brushes you can buy. All I'll say at this very early stage is, if you've bought a set of watercolors, the chances are it'll have a brush inside it. If it has a brush inside it, it's probably going to be too small. It's ideal for travel, but if you're looking at a brush, here we go, this kind of size, you're looking at something a little bit too small. So I would say head to your local art shop at high street stationers really, and you need to get something this kind of size, nice and splotchy, so you can feel that you can get your brush into the paint and get a good dollop of paint or a good dollop of paper. Make sure it's a watercolor brush, not an acrylic brush. That's to do with how soft these things are and how much water they hold. Basically, the more money you spend, the better brush you're going to get. That's fairly obvious. Two kinds. There's natural ones, which are made from animal hair, or synthetic ones. The synthetic ones are increasingly good and good value. So if that's a conscience thing for you, go for synthetic. But make sure they're watercolor and make sure you've got something with a nice big splotch, because that way you're going to be able to move it and shape it. Don't start fiddling with a little brush. By and large, use as big a brush as you can manage. So water, brush, you're good to go.